Hey guys, this is Under the Arch Sports. Along with David Woldingen, I'm Eric Hobbs, and well, sad day for Cardinal Nation. Mike Shannon has passed away, and David, it's something that I think a lot of Cardinal fans knew was coming, but that doesn't really soften the blow or make it any easier to deal with.
Yeah, I know before he stepped away completely, he wasn't going on the road games anymore, mainly because of his health issues. So, I mean, I guess it was a long time coming, unfortunately. Sad to see him go, have a lot of memories of him.
Yeah, gosh, lifetime Cardinal. So St. Louisan, born in 1939, and grew up in St. Louis. Went to CBC, went to Mizzou. He, as a senior in high school, guys, he was the player of the year in both football and basketball. He remains the only player to do that in the state of Missouri to this day. He went to Mizzou, and Frank Broyles, Hall of Fame head coach, spent 1 year at Mizzou the year Shannon was there, and he maintained that if Mike Shannon would have stuck with football, he'd have won the Heisman Trophy, which is incredible to think about. Um, but Mike Shannon chose baseball, and the reason was simple: money. Football players didn't get paid what baseball players did at the time, so he went with baseball, and ended up a two-time World Series champion with the Cardinals.
Yeah, he ended up winning two World Series in 1964 and 1967. And then once he retired from baseball, he ended up in the radio booth with Jack Buck. And as you guys know, from then on until, was it 2 years ago? He's
2021,
yeah,
50 years.
yeah. I mean, he's a mainstay. He's what grew. He and Jack were the ones who are what grew the fan base to what it is nowadays across not only Missouri but throughout the Midwest.
Well, and both of us, we're both in our 30s, and growing up, there's Jack Buck and Mike Shannon for, gosh, the first however many years that I could remember. And even after Jack Buck died, Mike Shannon is the mainstay for me. For people who are older, Mike Shannon is to us what Jack Buck was to someone like my mom and dad. So yeah, we grew up. He is the soundtrack of our summers.
Yeah,
That sounds dramatic, but it's not that big of an exaggeration.
yeah, and this is especially before cable took over. So
Oh yeah.
the youngins in the group may not understand, but I mean, before the Cardinals were on like every single day, the only way you could hear Cardinal baseball is on the radio.
Yeah, and I tell you what, with him and Jack Buck, they've spent 30 years working together. Their contrast was beautiful in its own way. Um, you think of Jack Buck, and he is kind of the elegant statesman type. Mike Shannon is not that. He wasn't, and he didn't try to be. So that's a credit to him. He was, the former player, the more relatable everyman type guy, and it came across in his broadcasting. It wasn't always necessarily polished, but it gave us, as we all know, just a litany of Shannonisms.
And he was genuine, most importantly.
Yeah, yeah, there's times where you're sitting there listening to the ball game, and you might look at whoever you're sitting next to and you, what in the heck did he just say? But
So, for instance,
oh yeah, go ahead.
yeah, somebody's got to grab the bear. Sometimes you eat the bear, and sometimes the bear eats you. One of his Shannonisms.
Yeah, the legendary game at Shea Stadium where there's the full moon.
Oh
And I
yeah.
wish you folks back home could see this full moon. Oh man.
Oh,
But yeah, I think he was the everyman. He was the relatable guy, and that kind of separated him. I would say from Jack Buck. And, the story that I've heard is him being familiar with Columbia, Missouri, and Mizzou and the environment there. He was meeting some Mizzou students, guys, and once he found out that's where they were from, the first thing out of his mouth, "How are the Stevens girls?" You know, in Stevens College, all girls school, about a good 5 iron away from the Mizzou campus. So just silly things like that. Yeah, he endeared himself to all of Cardinal Nation, and yeah, he was. Well, I think more than anything, he was fun. It was fun. But yeah,
yeah, I agree.
Cardinals Hall of Famer, as you mentioned, two-time world champion, played in a third, 1968. He hit the final home run at Busch Stadium 1 and the first home run at Busch Stadium 2. So that is kind of a fun note, just on his career there. I don't know. Even though we knew this was coming, and the reason I think we knew it was coming is because he's a baseball lifer. So when he announced that 2021 was going to be it, I think to anybody who was paying attention and knew Mike Shannon, I think it was clear that, okay, his health is really deteriorating if he's calling it a career. And I say who
Well,
knew Mike Shannon. We neither one of us ever met him, but I think we have an appreciation for knowing that he was a baseball lifer, and for him to call it a career and retire, that had to signal that things were going downhill health wise.
well, and if you just listen to him that last year, he really struggled
Yeah,
for most of the year just announcing. You could hear the heavy breathing, just the raspy voice, just trying to speak. He was really laboring through that whole year. And it was kind of hard to listen to, but at the same time, you wanted to hear it because this is it.
oh yeah, oh
And
yeah,
and as you said, he's a baseball lifer. The moment you step away when you're in love or in that involved with something, you see it all the time with a lot of people. The moment they stop working, that's the moment it all goes downhill. Is because they got what they strive for, what they live for. Once they throw in the towel, they're throwing in the towel on everything.
yeah, and he wasn't helped by the fact that, gosh, basically as soon as he retired, he got COVID,
Yeah.
and he spent time in the hospital. They had to put him in a medically induced coma. And for the rest of his life, he was dealing with long COVID. As of us filming this, they haven't announced like a cause of death. I don't know that they will. I don't know that they need to. That doesn't really matter as far as us knowing. But yeah, David, it's with all of that, we knew it was coming. It's just sad.
If you guys out there haven't had a chance, just type in Shannonisms. There's a website on there that just has a bunch of quotes from him.
Oh yeah,
Just go through and read some of them. It'll put a smile on your face.
oh yeah.
Like one of them I'm reading right now. The Dodgers are ahead by 5 runs or 3 runs or in between there somewhere. Like just some of the stuff he said on air, like you weren't even paying attention half the time or had a few too many that night.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's where his Steve Reich call came from, is he was slurring his words one night and it just kind of stuck with him.
One of my favorite things, and it's so simple. Mike Shannon had, excuse me, he spent so much time around the game that if a ball was a no doubt home run, he could recognize it pretty much immediately. So instead of have it, setting up a dramatic call. If it was a bomb, like McGuire, just 500-footer, he just swinging a home run. And that was great. And there wouldn't be that much excitement. Swinging a home run. And that'd be it. And then after that, he might add some more. Gosh, I love those. As you said, the Steerite one or whatever, that I always enjoyed. He walked him.
I think on the home run call there were a couple where he thought they were gone, and he'd just say, "Swing and a home run, caught at the warning track."
Yeah.
He did that a couple of times. It just made me laugh.
I liked the one that he had where there was a runner on second or something, and he's like, a base hit up the middle right here would be as nice as a ham sandwich and a nice cold frosty one.
Oh,
Which,
he had a lot of saves.
On the one hand, you're just like, what? But on the other hand, with him, it just fit perfectly.
I mean, he had a way with his words, especially when it came to the cold frosty one.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, I'm gonna just forever miss his voice. I really hope the Cardinals do the same thing they did with like Jack Buck and put a statue right next to his on the outside of the stadium. I think it'd be an awesome tribute.
I love that.
Yeah,
I love that.
Just have them both sitting next to each other outside the stadium. I think that would be phenomenal.
30 years in the booth together, and then a statue right next to each other forever. A bus. Yeah. I love it. I hope that happens.
Yeah. It's hard to just find a longtime legend because it takes forever for a legend to become a legend, Eric. But I mean, we got a good one in Rooney. But I mean, just across baseball, these guys are going away and they're lifers, and it's just sad to see. But at the same time, they've given us so many memories that you just got to tip your cap, if you will, to them and just honor them the way they should be honored, and just let the baseball continue on, and then just think of them every time you go to the ballpark. Mike Shannon, here's to you. Hope you're resting in peace.